The Vatican City is one of the most heavily guarded places on the planet. Through its huge doors and hollowed holes are some of the rarest artifacts in history. Beneath the city is an underground fortress inaccessible to the public and protected by armed guards and a state-of-the-art security system. Here, countless relics and texts collected by the church for over thousands of years are hidden. One of the most interesting objects hidden in the archive is a device that gives the user the ability to see through time. It turns out that the capital of Christianism hides a time machine, which is only stuff for sci-fi movies. That device is called the Chronovisor. The existence of this device has never been proven. However, the details surrounding it are interesting, hence I'd like to discuss it here in our channel. The existence of the device has been documented in a book by a Vatican priest, Father Francois Brun. The book was entitled The New Mysteries of Vatican, published in 2002. One morning in the early 1960s, Father Brun met Father Pellegrino Ernetti, a Benedictine monk, on a boat ride. He was a renowned musician and physicist who wrote books on music theory. Like Brun, Ernetti was well versed in the history of ancient languages, which made for natural conversation. But soon, Ernetti directed their chat towards science. Brun had been expounding on the many ways in which the Christian Bible could be interpreted when Ernetti made an intriguing revelation. He suggested that he had access to the truth via a time-traveling device. He kept this device a secret until he confided it to Father Brun. Ernetti claimed that he and a group of renowned scientists came together in a mutual quest to uncover the past. One scientist was Fermi, who won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1938, and another was the ex-Nazi von Braun, whose work at NASA got America to the moon. Made of cathode rays, antenna, and metals that receive sound and light signals on all wavelengths, the Chronovisor purportedly allowed a team of scientists to document events of the past, including the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. The machine, therefore, could validate the teachings of the Bible simply by providing a first-hand look into the past. According to Ernetti, the device had several antennae, 3 of which were made of mysterious metals that pick up sound and light waves across their entire respective spectrums. A direction finder on the device was allegedly tuned into the specific area one wanted to view, while a screen displayed it and a recording device captured the footage. The Chronovisor was thus more of a window into the past than a time machine. Ernetti said it worked like a television, catching echoes from days long gone that had been floating in space. Through this device, he claimed to have seen some astonishing things. Father Brun wanted to know if Father Ernetti and his collaborators had been able to see the crucifixion of Christ. To this, Ernetti proudly replied, "We saw everything: the agony in the garden, the betrayal of Judas, the trial, Calvary." Ernetti recounted how he witnessed Marcus Tullius Cicero's speech to the Roman Senate in 63 BC. His gestures, his intonation, how powerful they were, what flights of oratory. From the founding of the Roman Empire to the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Ernetti alleged that he and his team had taken a peek into some of the most important events in the Bible. When Brun asked what happened to what could be one of the most powerful inventions in history, Ernetti said that they brought it to the Pope. Since it can tune into any place and time into the past, it could be used as a powerful weapon. It could be used for blackmail, so Pope Pius XII had ordered the machine to be dismantled. He said they were forbidden to speak about it. Although Brun was convinced as well that in the wrong hands the Chronovisor would bring devastation, he was dismayed that there was no proof that it worked. To that, Ernetti replied, "My friend, I have proof." The play Thyestes was written by Quintus Ennius, who was born 239 BC in what is now Calabria, Italy. Ennius is sometimes called the father of Latin poetry, and over the course of his lifetime, he wrote about 20 plays and an epic poem on the history of Rome called Annals. Only a few fragments of his work survive. His last play, Thyestes, was produced only shortly before his death in 169 BC. Scholars have wondered about this play for centuries. Though they knew what the story was about based on the writings of the 1st century author Seneca, the actual text, except for a few lines, has been lost to history. Sometime in the late 60s, a Professor Giuseppe Marasca became interested in the stories he was reading about Father Ernetti and his machine. Marasca contacted Ernetti and eventually they became friends. Ernetti promised to show Marasca his machine, but never did. What he did present to the professor was a handwritten manuscript of what he indicated was the complete play, Thyestes, that he had supposedly copied down while watching the Chronovisor. Marasca held onto the text for a number of years, refusing to show it to anybody. Eventually, he passed copies to select individuals, including Father Brun. A second piece of evidence that Father Ernetti released was a picture of Christ's face while he was on the cross, apparently photographed through the Chronovisor. The photo shows the face of a burdened man with upturned eyes. And these are some of the photos that were associated with the story about the Chronovisor, although not released by Ernetti himself. Father Ernetti died in 1994, but he maintained until his death that the machine had been hidden away by the Vatican in order to safeguard it from falling into the wrong hands. Shortly before he died, Ernetti wrote an open letter adamantly reiterating that the device was real. He claimed that Pope Pius XII forbade us to disclose any details about this device because the machine was very dangerous. It can restrain the freedom of man. In 1996, Paracelsus magazine issued critiques of Ernetti's claims. The piece questioned why Ernettis hadn't published detailed instructions on how to build the device in order to legitimize his claims. Furthermore, the article revealed how the Chronovisor's design bore a stark resemblance to a similar device in a 1947 sci-fi novella. As for the manuscript of Thyestes that he said he had transcribed from watching the play on the Chronovisor, it seems too short. It was only 120 lines for it to be the full play. Scholars believe that it would be at least 1,000 lines. Many of the words used in this manuscript didn't appear in the Latin language until over 2 centuries after the play was first performed. The type of words and the way they are repeated also suggests that the person who composed the manuscript had limited skills in Latin. As Ennius, the playwright, was using his native language, this seems very strange. The photo of crucified Jesus that was shown by Ernetti was identical to the one sold at the Sanctuary of Merciful Love in Collevalenza, Italy. The photograph shows a wooden carving of Jesus in the sanctuary by the famous Spanish artist Valera. If the proofs about the Chronovisor were debunked, should we then dismiss this story as a hoax? One thing that we should remember is the credibility of the sources of this story. Father Ernetti was well known and highly respected by his peers. He spent most of his life researching, teaching, and writing. His books are highly regarded by his peers. Father Brun was a highly esteemed priest as well. The question is, if this story isn't true, why would they tarnish their reputation? What would they gain from telling a lie of this magnitude? Interestingly, the Vatican decreed in 1988 that anyone using an instrument of such characteristics as that of the Chronovisor would be excommunicated. Why would they bother issuing this decree if the story doesn't hold up? How about you? Do you believe that the Chronovisor exists and are hidden somewhere in the dungeons of the Vatican City? Let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe. Until then, peace out.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories.